Hello, everyone. How is everyone today? Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me and if you can see me. Trying to get all this stuff to hang up here, and it's just arguing with me today. Now, as far as pixelating and things like that, that is going to happen today. We've got clouds moving in, got rain moving in. So, yeah, it's going to be a problem. Hi, Carol. Hi, Mary Jane. Hi, Robin. Hi, Angela. Hi, Jeremy and Tom. Hi, Katia. Make sure you all smash that like button and help our algorithm. We have something to celebrate today. We have surpassed on the YouTube channel 1,300 students. So we are sitting right at about 4,000 students with combined students that actually follow us on YouTube, as well as students that are enrolled. Hi, Sue. Hi, Bev. Hi, Barb. Tonight's class, we're having trouble with our Gmail account. So we're trying to get the email set up through the website because we have grown so exponentially and so fast. Gmail is giving us fits. We, just by sending out this morning's notifications, we overran our budget that Gmail allows us on emails. So does that give you any idea of how many students we have? So now we are stepping up into the big leagues. And we was planning on doing this during the break, switching over to the website for email. But it looks like we're going to have to do it sooner rather than later. So I'm going to get it set up this afternoon, but it doesn't guarantee we'll be able to use it until next week because it takes time for them to do what they got to do. And so, needless to say, I may have Pam send you tonight's link from Needle to Tat. That's her email for her needle classes. So if you get a strange email from a needle tatting teacher called Pam, it's because she's sending out the email for tonight's class. So, hi, Fred. Yeah, Tom, we're growing fast. We really are growing fast. We have people that are not subscribed to us that view us, and I get this all on the back end, and we're looking at about 4,000 people watching us on YouTube. So yeah, we are getting, as they say, too big for our britches. That's okay. I don't mind it at all. I'm happy. We're spreading the word. Georgia's just dancing a jig, let me tell you. She's happy. As long as she's happy, we're all happy. That's the way it'll be. Give it a couple more minutes and let everybody get into the classes. Yeah, hopefully when we come back, we're not going to have the buffering and the glitching and things like that. Like I said, the program that we're getting, I got to work with. It's totally different than what I'm using. And so it'll give me time to practice with it between classes. And we're going to put it to a full test. We've got email that's going to be switching, so that's something. Hi, Pam. Pam, I have a job for you this afternoon. You're going to have to send out through Needle to Tap the link for tonight's class. Dennis looked at the email on the website, and it may take a few days for it to be activated. So with that in mind, I'll have to get you to send tonight's link. You will get an email from me saying that there is a class, okay? But the link will be a live link, okay? And that live link will go out as a notification. So all of you make sure you've got that notification bell clicked, okay? But you will get the email, and I'm not sure if we're going to have a link to go with that email or not. We will find that out. I will know all the details when I practice with it. This new software is totally different. YouTube likes the new software that I'm, talking about getting. And then we can invite guest teachers in, and they can use their own camera equipment and stuff. They can even use their cell phones, and they can join into the class. Okay. So yeah, it will benefit the classes a lot, and it'll help you guys a lot, because if something happens that I can't teach that particular day, I can get somebody else to come in and sub, and they can just use their cell phone and do. I can get teachers from all over the world to come teach a class. So yeah, it's going to exponentially increase the number of students that we have. It will exponentially increase the number of foreign students that we have. And by offering this to people that do not speak English, it spreads it all around the globe. And I can get teachers that are bilingual to teach in their native language. So, I mean, we're growing so fast. It's mind-boggling how fast we're growing. So, yeah. But, yeah, Google's not liking us too much. YouTube's had fits with us because of the way we were doing things. So now we're gonna buckle down and do what everybody wants us to do and do it right. We didn't expect to grow as fast as we did. Yeah, that's right, Pam. Dennis looked at it today, and apparently we need to create another account for the overflow of students, because we've reached the maximum number of students that we are allowed in that account. So that's our problem. We have too many students, not in my books, but in Gmail's books, I got too many students. So, anywho, again, for those of you that weren't here yesterday, the last class for this session is November 16th. We will return January 3rd, okay, for the new classes. New classes will be full on live. That means super chats will be open. That means super stickers will be open. Super thanks will be open. And anyone that donates during classes, their name comes up in lights, and we announce that they've done it. It's really cool. Okay, it is really a cool thing. And all proceeds go towards scholarship fund and the maintenance of these classes. That means the website, camera gear, and things like that. You don't replace camera gear and computers unless they die. Okay? Cameras, the only reason why we would replace a camera is if something better came out or the camera died. Because the camera that I'm using for my down shot, I've had this camera for years. And as you can see, it's still pretty good camera. But when I buy a camera, I don't buy a cheap no-name camera. I buy something that has some backing behind it. So, because I want something that's going to last, because it's what I do. And but I always go for the best for the price. You know, I want more bang for my buck, in other words. Hi, Sue. So, needless to say, that's what the proceeds go towards. It pays for the website. It pays for the equipment we need to run the classes. And it pays for scholarships. Okay? It will give scholarships to those who want to go to conventions and can't afford to go. They can afford to drive there. Well, I don't know. Gas right now, I don't know. Unless gas prices come down, they may have to up the scholarships, you know. But remember, it goes towards scholarships. It gets people to the conventions, okay? And what it pays for is room and board and classes, you know, things like that. So, yeah, it's worth it. And I have seen on other channels that were just regular crafting channels, and they were rolling in some money, serious money, with the super chats and stuff. And they literally, if we do that well on when we go live, I believe we could possibly get at least 100 students to a convention. I'm serious. So there you go. That's something to look forward to, and it's a goal of ours. I want to get everybody to a convention without, all they have to do is pay their gas and get there. That's it. That's my goal. And that was Georgia's goal. So, with that said, let's get into today's subject. Hi, Kaylin. Today we're going to learn about pearl tatting, or commonly called Maltese tatting. Okay? In the old days, it was Maltese. All right? And some people called it pearl. It changed its name some centuries ago from Maltese to pearl. But it's the same basic thing. Or now you can get another one in there, and it's called padded tatting. That's the versatility of the language of tatting. It all means the same. Okay? Because your tatting is padded. Pearl tatting has a different look, okay, than regular tatting. But it is all the same. It's tatting. In general, it is tatting. It is a double stitch. It's how we manipulate that double stitch and the thread to come up with pearl tatting. So, without further ado, I'm going to drop down on the camera, and we're going to take a look at something on my desk. All right. What I've got here is a pearl tatted bracelet. Everybody see that? Can you see the tatting on it? How the tatting looks like it's going over the bead? Okay. Now, this is pearl tatting, and it is also padded tatting. It is also Maltese tatting. They're all the same. So let's don't get confused. Every one of them are the same. Now, to do this, you would string your beads on both shuttles. Okay? And that's how you'd work it. So, hi, Tasneem. Tasneem sent in some work today. This is one hard-working lady. Her tatting has developed exponentially for the better, and she wants to, correct me if I'm wrong, Tasneem, she wants to make things for her daughter's wedding in tatting, like her veil and her dress, things like that. And us as a class, we're going to help her come up with ideas for her daughter's wedding. Now, it's going to be a while before her daughter gets married, okay? But she's starting now. She's planning for her daughter's wedding. And her daughter's not even engaged. She's still a young child. But it takes a while. Anybody that's been tatting knows it takes a while to get that tatting done. and she wants it perfect, and she wants it blingy, and she wants it pretty. And we're going to help her as a class. We're going to accomplish that because we're going to learn what she needs to learn to do that for her. Okay? So let's get on with the padded pearl Maltese tatting. Again, here is the bracelet. This is the easiest tatting you will ever tat in your life. Okay? Now, the term that we use for this type of tatting is pearl tatting. And what it boils down to is you are encapsulating your thread. All right? And encapsulation means that you're wrapping your stitches on your thread and your core thread is encapsulated in those stitches. Okay? So, in order to do pearl tatting, you need 3 threads. Okay? You're welcome, Tasneem. I'm just honored you want us to do this. Okay, now, you want 3 threads. This here is a Ceylon cord thread. They use this for macrame. It is pretty heavy duty. It's got some stiffness to it. When you're doing pearl tatting, you want something that's got some body to it, something that will hold its shape. Okay, because the core thread that's running through is what gives it its strength. Okay, you're not going to see this thread. You could have it in any color. You could put lime green under this thread. You're not going to see it. All right, so what you do is normally you tie a knot, all 3 threads together. But today I have tatted up a ring to show you how to come off this element with your padded tatting or pearl tatting. Okay, so the ring is shuttle 1. It's in the purple. Okay, the lavender purple. That is shuttle 1. Shuttle 2 is the color thread that Phyllis hand dyed, and y'all fell in love with. Okay, so there you go. We've got our 2 colors of thread. They're tied together. All right, now in pops our core thread. This one here is our Ceylon cord. This is the one that's going to give us strength. All right, now what you're going to do with that, it's not tied in. Notice that. You are going to take this, you're going to run it up through the center of that ring. Normally you wouldn't have your ring closed. I had to close it because my husband come in here was working on the computer. And you want to bring it to the base of that ring. Okay? And hold it. You're going to tat these 2 ends in together. Okay? Now remember what I said yesterday? When tatting your tatting up more than 1 inch, you really got to tighten those stitches. Okay? If you don't tighten your stitches, it will show. Now, here is your chain thread that you're going to be tatting on. All right? This is shuttle 2. This is 1/2 of our pearl tatted piece. It lays over behind us. Get it out of our way, okay? This is shuttle 2. This is the first part of this step that we're going to do. And this you will find. You're looking at me, you're saying this woman's got 2 heads. No, I don't. We're going to do this, and it's going to be the easiest thing you've ever done in your life with tatting. All right? Now, I'm going to drop down just a little closer. How about that? Let's see. I'm waiting for the computer to catch up so that I can see that it's close enough for you guys. I do believe we've got it. All right, now you want to lay these tails next to this core thread right here. Your first stitch you put on is just like your regular stitch, all right? Run it over. Do not, whatever you do not flip that stitch. Now you want these tails to feed through. This is where we fiddle. This is where we have our headaches. But once these tails are done away with, we don't have a headache no more. It's just enough to get it going. All right? And you pull it down. All right? Now, the next half is the second half of that double stitch without flipping. Do not flip. The hardest part is keeping that finger straight. All right? Now we're going to do let's do 4 of those stitches. You pull it tight. This is not doing nothing but being a pain and crawling down my hand. The one we want to worry with is shuttle 1. Again, you're going to pull it down, but you are not going to flip that stitch. You just got to work it over those threads. Pull it down. You are wrapping these stitches. Yeah, my shuttle's over the back of my hand, Sue. I threw it back here. Here it is. There it went. She's reminding me to say that. Thank you, Sue. I have so many helpers. I wouldn't know what to do. All right. I think I just, yep, I did it. I did it. I got it off of there. It's got to go through that loop. And this is where we can either lose our religion or lose our patience. The choice is yours. And I think I did the wrong half. I sure did. You have to focus. When you're wrapping your stitches, you do have to focus what you're doing, or you will inevitably do what I just did and put on the wrong half. So let's try that again. Get down there. And let's go for the second half. There we go. Get on. It's like lassoing, you know. All right, there we go. We've got 2 stitches. Now, the next stitch that we're going to put in, we're going to lose one of these ends. All right. Pull it down. Drop that back. Pull it down. And tighten. Okay. Again, do the second half. Pull it down. And you do not want to do anything with these stitches until you get these ends done away with. All right. Now we've got 1 more double stitch to put in. So we put it in. We're going to run this over that one. And then we're going to do away with this one and flip it back. And we're going to do the second half of that stitch and slide it down. All right. Now, as you can see, my ends are hanging out the front. In purl tatting, advice number 1, snip those ends before you finish that stitch so it doesn't show. But I wanted you to see how it comes out the other side. All right. This one here is right here. Pull it. And that Ceylon thread is real easy to deal with once you get the ends done. All right, now we've got everything tatted up. Guess what we're going to do? We're going to roll those stitches right on over to the other side. Okay. Pull it down. And with those ends in there, it can get quite fiddly. Okay? See, it's popping back through. That's okay. Let it do its thing. Let it. We want to get this wrapped around our hand. We're going to take this shuttle here. We're going to throw it back. And we're going to grab shuttle 2. Now, this one is the easy peasy one. Let's get up some of that loose thread. Now, and just wrap double. That nylon thread does not slide at all on your hands. Fair warning, I told you. All right, so let's do the second half, then the first half. Second half, first half. If you accidentally flip, get it off. You do not want to flip it. And you will, because you're used to flipping your stitches. One of the hardest things about purl tatting is remembering not to flip your stitches, okay? Second half, first half, second half, first half. Now we've got 4 stitches. Throw this shuttle back, pick up shuttle 2. Okay? You're going to put on your stitches. Slide them over. 1, 2, 3. Just tried to flip that little puppy. And here's 4. All right, now on this one, you flip it over. As you flip it over, throw your shuttle over there and pick up shuttle 2. Okay? And that's basically the reason you're not flipping, Pam, is because you are creating a straight chain of 2 different colors. And each time you change your color, there is going to be a picot there. Now watch. Watch what I'm talking about. This is second shuttle. So we do second half first, first half second, because this one's going to lay flat. We go 4 times. It's 2, 3, and 4. Right? We got 4 double stitches. And if you will look, you have your picot here on the bottom half, and you have your picot here on the top. The picot on the top half is the same color as the thread on the top half. The picot on the bottom half is the same color as the thread facing that way. And it creates a straight chain. However, if you put beads on it, it gives the illusion that it's got a curvature, and it doesn't. Right, Teresa. There is other ways to set up for the purl tatting. There's many different ways. We have several diagrams up on the website. I sent that in today with your class material. Sue Hansen donated another file that's up there. I wasn't calling it shuttle number 2. Shuttle 2 is your colored, your multicolor. Shuttle 1 is your solid color. Okay, I may have misspoke. Shuttle 2 is this one. Shuttle 1 is this one. Okay, shuttle 1 is the one that rolls over. Shuttle 2 stays in place. That's the way to remember it. This is how I was taught by Georgia. Okay, this is what, in fact, she personally taught me this. So, but when you do shuttle 2, see, it's the variegated color. Shuttle 1 is the purple. Now we'll pick up with that purple color. Let's do it. Gonna wrap it up. This is shuttle 1. Okay, and we're going to wrap our stitches Helps if you do the second half right. No, I got that backwards. Didn't I? Didn't I? Didn't I? It can get confusing. Seriously. And if you watch yourself, you'll see the double stitches just fall on there. One of them looks backwards, the other one looks normal. If it looks backwards, guess what? That is the one you roll. Okay? Don't you dare flip on me. Come on. All right, once you get it down here, see, I've got that on there. They're both running the same way. You take that purple thread, pull it over. See? Once you pull it over, all your purple threads will be on this side. All of your multicolored variegated thread will be on this side. Okay? But you tie a knot and just go to town. Practice it. The hardest part is remembering which shuttle you're working with. Are you working with shuttle 1? Are you working with shuttle 2? If you're working with shuttle 1, those are the ones you roll. Shuttle 2 stays the same. Okay? And what I would do, and I have done this myself, okay, in practice. I take a little piece of tape and put it on the top of my shuttle, and I'll mark them. Shuttle 1, shuttle 2, okay? And then I know. But if you put ink on them, remember the thread, okay, it can come from your hands and get on the thread. All right, the advantages you have with the core thread. You can put the beads on the core thread. Okay? The core thread can give it dimension depending on how you do your beads. If you put beads on the picos, the core thread will hold its shape and it will look like an S, but it's really not an S. It is a straight chain. The beads are only on these little bitty picos, okay, out here. That's where our beads will be. And what you've tatted just rounds around it. And the core thread gives it shape. No, if you flip, you can still roll the thread. The problem is if you flip it, you've lost the purl tatting. You're doing regular tatting. Okay? But remember, you want those picos to match your work. Okay? I never rotated my work, Sue. I never once rotated. I just rolled the stitches over for the other half. No. If you flip the stitches, so you're going to be pulling this dark purple out front. See? I'll show you what I'm talking about. That's where everybody, I think, is getting confused. This is your core thread. Watch. If I flip my stitches, guess what? My core thread is now the stitches. Do you see? Does that make sense? See what I'm doing here when I start flipping my stitches? Yeah, I know. You said you never roll your stitches over. Well, what's the purpose of the core thread? The core thread is to give you your straight chain. The core thread is to give you something to tat on. The core thread is your padding. Okay? And if you tat with your core thread, you have defeated the purl tatting method. Because you're using your core thread as your purl tatted. Yes, you could. You could use it. This core threads, you can put a shuttle on it. You pick up the other shuttle to put the to do the flipped ones. What flipped ones? The ones you roll over? So what happens to this? You would not, if you did it your way, Sue, why would you have 3 shuttles? That's what I'm trying to find out. What is the purpose of the core thread? Why do you need the core thread? Because I can do this. I don't get what you're saying. I'll show you what I'm talking about, okay? Right, Sue. There is several ways to produce purl tatting. But what Sue is talking about, let me show you. I'm going to just tie a knot in here. She doesn't need the core thread. She really doesn't. So you need 2 shuttles, one for flip and the other for the flipped. That is confusing. All right, you got 2 shuttles. You're regularly tatting. You're not purl tatting. All right, so she's flipping her stitches. We're going to do it. All right, we got 4 stitches. Now, how you going to tat with this? You're going to take it off your hand and tat backwards. You're tatting a ring. I only have 2 shuttles, and I have a core thread. All right, I am totally confused, Sue. Totally confused. Which that isn't hard to do for me. You know, I'm blonde to the toes underneath the gray. Just saying. All right, now, I used the ring to show you could come off of an element and use this in your tatting. Now, to practice, we have our 2 shuttles. Get that out of the way. We have 2 shuttles. We have our core thread, okay? That's exactly what I was doing, Sue. That's exactly what I was doing. It's just when you tat on that core thread, all right, we're going to do that. That's exactly what I was doing. But if you flip the stitches, you use your core thread. Do you see what I'm saying? If we flip those stitches, we are using the core thread. All right, then we toss that over. We lose this thread by doing that. That gives us that picot. And then we end up tatting underneath. flipping my stitches. All right, we're going to try it Sue's way. Toss that over there. And then we're going to tap. Okay, now, if I do it the way Sue says to do it, okay, I lose my core thread. And you will see how I'm describing this. Watch. The whole idea behind the purl tatting is to have this picot match your thread. Okay? Now, here we go. We're going to do it the way Sue said. All right? And we're going to flip those stitches. And as you can see, it's pulling it back across. Sue, I did it that way. Watch. Did you not see what I did? Your core thread is lost, and so is your picots. There you go. Look. Let me get right there. You see this picot? That picot does not match that thread, and that's the whole idea. Then you're going to pull it into a ring. Right, Sue Hansen, right. Without the core, it's a lock chain. You lose that chain. Because shuttle 1 becomes the core thread. Do you see it? With purl tatting, it is supposed to let me put these 3 together again. I'll show you what it's supposed to do. And the reason you roll the stitches is so that you keep your picots and your chains consecutive in color. Unless you're going to do 3 of the same color. And the whole idea behind the purl tatting is to give depth and dimension to a piece. Okay? But you have to have the core thread in there for it to be you have to have the core thread in there for it to be padded tatting. And padded tatting is another name for purl tatting as well as another name for Maltese tatting. That is the purpose of the core thread. Okay, watch what I'm doing. You go under, over. Okay, you see I'm not flipping those stitches. Got 2. Oops, sorry. Supposed to put the second half in there. 2. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, when you roll this over, okay, and I do have a video up on this that Georgia had me to make years ago, okay, then you pick up this second one. When you pick up shuttle 2, it automatically comes under here to create the picot under this line. I don't know. Okay. this one, wait a minute, get back. This one goes here. Okay. 2, 3, 4. There's our 4 stitches. Okay. Drop that shuttle, flip it over, and pick up this one. Now we put in our double stitches. 2, 3, and 4. And then you roll them over. Switch shuttles. And then you have a purl tatted chain. As you can see how the picots match the threads. Right. You're right, Tasneem. If you flip the stitches, though, you are creating a lock chain. Because these are wrapped, the minute you flip a stitch, it locks that chain in place. Right now, that core thread is holding those stitches in place. Okay? But I can move them. You can avoid the picots, but you wouldn't have purl tatting. Purl tatting is you've got stitches going this way, the caps of the stitches going one way and then the other way. One way, then the other way. Okay, that is purl tatting. If you look at the diagrams that Georgia had put together, they're in the files that I sent out. Georgia put those together. Right. You're right, Sue. Yorkie. I have to remember that. Now, you can use this chain, as I said. You can use it to make a bracelet. You can use it to make a necklace. You can use it to make long dangly earrings, okay? So, as you can see, let me get this right, okay? As you can see, let me get in here real close. This is my core thread back here. Just because this matches the core thread does not mean that I use the core thread to do it. Okay? Same here. Does not mean that I use the core thread to do it. It just means that the core thread running through is the same core thread that's used on both. Okay? It's all in placement. You have to play with it to get it to lay right and get it to work right. But that is the basic stitch for the padded tatting. Okay? And to get it to look like it should, okay, like this. You see how I've got white beads and then black beads on the white? I used a dual cord on this, a dual core. When I tatted the chain with both core threads. Yeah, I know. So you can see the chain itself has both cores running through it. This here is the very small micro cord in it. This is Ceylon, and this is the biggest you can get. This is what they use for macrame. Okay, I've got some that's as small as hair, I would say. Very, very fine cord. Yes, you're right, Kaylin. So, play with it. See what you can do with some padded tatting, purl tatting, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, it will test your skill, Jill, on flipped and unflipped stitches. But it will also get you used to working with unflipped stitches. You'll see how the stitches lay, okay, flipped and unflipped. Because an unflipped stitch is just the opposite direction of a regular flip stitch. That's the difference. Everything is opposite. It's like, okay, good example. This is an unflipped stitch facing this way. This is a flip stitch facing this way. That's the difference. You're looking at the back of one and the front of the other. On my side, it's the front and the back. So that's the difference between flipped and unflipped. Right, if you flip, the core comes from the shuttle. When you flip your stitches, your core thread comes from here. If you're doing a ring, core thread comes from here. You're doing a chain, same deal. Core thread comes from here. You do your stitch, you flip. Do your stitch and flip. Okay? Watch when you're making stitches. You'll understand them better. And as long as you can understand the direction of your stitches and the way they go when you're tatting, you'll be able to understand how to manipulate those stitches. Okay? Yes, you're right, Katia. And it will give you a straight chain. I mean, it will be as straight can get. So if you're doing, say you're designing something for yourself, okay? And you want that straight chain to veer off and do something else, okay? Or join to something else. That is a good way to carry over, okay? Right. I think I'm going to just sit back and let everybody else teach. I'm teasing. Yes, you can, listen, there's people that have used up to 100 shuttles to tat with. And all those shuttles have thread on them, and they carry those threads throughout the tatting. Right. I'll tell you what this reminds me of, Sue, Teresa, too. The double and triple picot, the way that is made, that's what this is similar to. It looks a lot like it, the picots do. If you were doing a double and a triple picot, you would have those stitches in between the picots. You see? To give you the double and triple picots. And that's what the purl stitch reminds me of. But like I say, there's several ways you can do it. No, I'm not professed in all those ways. I'm only professed in what Georgia taught me. And what Georgia taught me is a lot of the old ways that was done. And I'm a purist when it comes to tatting. I want to tat like they did in the old days, because we wouldn't have it today if we didn't have it back then. Right. How do you purl tat without picots, which is encapsulating the tatting? It's not really purl tatting per se. It's more padded tatting because you've left off the picots. Okay? If you do it, you just basically, you've got your core threads running through and you just keep tatting on them without flipping your stitches, and you're encapsulating all that thread. Right, you can put a bead there to hold the picot, as I did. on the bracelet. Okay? And it does give it body. As you can see, it has body and stiffness. Okay? I wear this bracelet quite often. And everybody wonders, you know, where'd you get it? Where'd you get it? You see? But yeah, I mean, you can make up $1 million of these and sell them for $3 a piece or $5 a piece. Well, inflation might ought to get 10 and make you a little mint there. Right, right. Y'all are getting it. Y'all are getting it. So, is there any question on pearl tatting? Yeah. If you do pearl tatting, as Teresa Woods pointed out, the picots are determined by how many stitches you use. Okay, Sigrid, I understand the way you showed the pearl tatting. If there are other ways, that would something to try when I get more advanced. Correct. There are other ways. I will do more research on it and see if I can't find the different ways that everybody's talking about. The only ones that I could find in the files are up on the site. Right, when you encapsulate, you have to do more than one core thread because you want that, what you're encapsulating, to be heavy. When they work with buku, you know, shuttles, they have a huge core thread, and that is all padding. That is all thread that's in there. Back in the day, as I mentioned yesterday, they used coronation thread, and coronation thread had a humpty and then a little bit of thread and then a humpty. It reminded me of like little cocoons on a thread. Okay, and then they would wind up, come down, go up, come down, and that's what coronation thread looked like. Yes, encapsulating is the same thing as a wrap stitch. Yes, beads and pearls will add more bling to your piece. Okay, you want your beads to be on your shuttles because you're going to pull them from the thread that you are using. Okay? So if this one, I wanted black beads on the white thread, so I strung black beads on my white thread. I wanted white beads on the black thread, so I strung white beads on the black shuttle. Okay? I always use 2 different color shuttles, 2 different pattern shuttles. My shuttles look different, so I don't have to put the paper stuff on it. It's because you get icky-gicky on it, and you can't get it off, and then your fingers are sticking to your thread. So, yeah. I don't advise putting tape on them. Okay, I'm just saying, if you do get something, clean the tape gooey off. So, any questions about basic pearl tatting? Play with it. You do that for homework. Play with it. Tasneem did a wonderful job on her samples, and she had one in there. It was gorgeous. Yeah, you can. You know the beaded pearl chains you can get at the, well, Dollar Tree, you know, Mardi Gras comes out. They come out with all them beads on in there, and you can literally tap between those beads and make it look like pearl tatting. Bead size. Bead size is according to your thread you're using. Yeah, it is a very versatile technique. It's similar as far as versatility goes as the Josephine chain. The Josephine chain applies itself in many, many facets in tatting. So does pearl tatting. You're welcome, Barb. I get confused with needle terms, as you well know. No, folks, I'm not a needle tatter. I know enough to fill a thimble. Pam's my needle girl. You got any needle questions? Throw them at Pam. So, for homework. Yes, I'm looking at your homework. The bead size on these, I don't remember, Jill. I made this, gosh, 10 years ago. Well, you're welcome, Eve. But for your homework, I want you all to play with the pearl tatting. You know, you can add beads, you can do fancy footwork, whatever you want to do. I just want to see that you understand the concept of the pearl tatting. The reason is that way you can use it in your tatting. You find a pattern and you like the layout of the pattern, but you don't like necessarily the chains. It's got too many picots on it or something. Change it up. Do some pearl tatting on it. Is it easier to do on a needle than shuttle? That's hard to say. That is hard to say. I am not a needle tatter, Katia, and I really don't remember. I did a video on it in needle, I believe. And of course, we're talking 10 years ago that these videos were done. So if there is a needle version, it's on there. But I don't remember if it would be easier on needle or on shuttle. Pam, you're going to have to try that and see. Exactly. We all help each other. And that's the nice thing about these classes, guys. You all help me. You make me refresh my brain. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. I had to watch my video to teach you all this class today. I don't use it enough. And many times I refer back to my videos. You can't store it all. Not what, if you stored all that tatting knowledge up here, you'd have no room for anything else, especially my pea brain. You're welcome, Jill. Thank you for coming. Now, Pam's going to send the link for tonight's class. It'll be the same thing. And we'll just go over things and just really hone in on it. Okay? In between class, I want to see if I can't find some more information on it. And also, I will have a pattern that Sue Hansen did. There's a friendship bracelet for you guys using this technique. I've got the pattern from her, and I will get it up on the website before class tonight. Thank you, Pam. So yes, guys, needle tatters. There is a video on needle pearl tatting. Yeah, you do need to snug the stitches up on the core, but I like to leave it loose so that they can see that core thread shine through. Right. You're so right, Teresa. So right. That's okay, Sue. Thank you, Barb. Okay, I'll look at it. I didn't get a chance to look it over, Sue, before I posted it. Not real close. Well, as you know, it was what, 10 minutes before class? But I'll get all that information together. I'll get a hold of Georgia. That may be some files that could be missing. And see if she's got some stuff for other ways. Because like I said, this is what she taught me. And she said, now, can you do a video on it? And I said, I'll have it up in the morning. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I mean, literally, guys, that last document went up 10 minutes before class. And I was trying to get the pattern up and just ran out of time. So, yes, I'm learning on the website. Be proud of me and pat myself on the back. I uploaded some files without help from Hubs. So that was a shocker. So if y'all can get them off there, y'all doing good. Because I did that. And I know nothing about website. Nothing. Well, I started off knowing nothing. I know very little now. I went from nothing to very little. So, any questions? Any questions at all? You're welcome, Tasneem. Thank you. Thank you for your beautiful gifts this morning. I wish I could share that with you all. I mean, my heart did this. I was so proud of her. So, you don't have to teach what I'm teaching. You're welcome, Katia. Yes, I will see you tonight. Are there any more questions, guys? That document will be up for the pattern this afternoon. As soon as I leave class, I'm going to get to work on it. But I got to get the new link for Pam. So, all right. Fred says there's no questions. Yep, your time has changed. Ours changes on Sunday, Tasia. So we'll be back in line on Sunday. That's okay. It'll be up in just a few minutes. As soon as class is over, I'll get it ready to go up. Totally confused me again, Sue. She just sent that to you today. All right, if there's no more questions, I will call it good day until tonight. So, may all your threads make beautiful lace. And happy tatting to everyone. And I will see you tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Talk to you then. Have a good evening. Bye-bye.